Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm Brandon Atlanta Man Bang, coming to you live right here at Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, Thunderbolt, Georgia. Another episode of Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Rubbin' is racing, grubbin' is tasting. Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight on your Wednesday. If it's your first time tuning in, you can catch us right here at Coach's Corner every Wednesday, 6 o'clock, until I get tired of talking or I run out of stuff to talk about, man. But glad you guys are tuning in tonight. Got a lot to go over here. We're leading up to the Clash in the Coliseum. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Back to NASCAR racing is coming up here very, very soon. Matter of fact, it will be not this Sunday. Next Sunday, we will be seeing this next-gen car in race, somewhat race form for the first time, man. So you got to keep an eye out and be ready for that, man. There again, we're going to go ahead and get it started. If you're tuning in, you know how I get it started every single week. We're going to do the word of the day. If it's the first time you've ever tuned in, basically what's going to happen, my producer Lawrence is going to throw a word up here. I have no idea what it is. Whenever I say that word during tonight's show, you're going to take a sip of your favorite adult beverage. I say it all the time, kid appropriate as well. If you're under the age of 21, man, Kool-Aid, sweet tea, anything with sugar, get jacked up, get hyped. Wednesday night, hump day, halfway through the school week, y'all. So today's word is going to be, I have no idea what it is. Lawrence is going to put it up there, but every time I say that word tonight, make sure you take a sip of your favorite adult beverage and enjoy the show, man. Last week was Daytona. I was just informed it was Daytona, so I'm pretty sure I said that quite a few times last week. If you played along, you were probably drunk. So at the end of the day, man, we're going to get this thing going, moving right on into some NASCAR news, y'all. So NASCAR news, breaking it down. Last year's Xfinity Series champion, Daniel Hemrick, is going to try to make a go and a run to qualify for the Daytona 500. We'll have to see if he can qualify his way in and make that race and do his thing, man. I tell you, the Daytona 500 is one of the biggest races, pretty much the biggest race in NASCAR. Football has their Super Bowl at the end of the year. NASCAR kind of has their Super Bowl at the beginning, the biggest race. Huge purse, man. So to qualify and even finish dead last in this race is an amazing payday for a lot of these teams. So keep that in mind as we move into Daytona and you see some of these smaller teams have good runs. That's one thing I love about there. But keep an eye out for Daniel Hemrick, see if he can qualify for that Daytona 500, man. So North Wilkesboro, man, if you guys have been watching any of the show, you know I've been talking about North Wilkesboro, Nashville Fairgrounds, a lot of older historic tracks in NASCAR. Rockingham are being bought. Bruton Smith owns a couple of them, and North Wilkesboro has got the grant that here in the near future it's going to be more than likely you're going to see a race, a truck race at least, at North Wilkesboro. So I think it might take time for Cup, if we ever see Cup there, but definitely trucks. I think it's going to be amazing. Absolutely glad to see NASCAR getting back to some of the roots that got them to where they're at today. North Wilkesboro is such a historic track. So many good races there. So many good racers have raced there. So it is a really good thing to see them come back and hopefully host one of these Truck Series races in the very near future, man. So more big news. Tony Stewart, Smoke himself, moving right up there into the booth to do his Fox broadcasting stuff coming up, not only for the Busch Clash there at the Coliseum, but also going to be doing it for the Daytona 500. As we all know, if you know Tony Stewart and you know that personality, probably going to be a pretty good time up there in the booth. Probably be pretty good commentary as well. So going to be interesting to watch and see what he says, and definitely make sure you tune into that, man. So probably some of the biggest news that's dropped this week is the changes that NASCAR is making to its penalty system, right? So in years past, we've seen level 1, level 2, level 3 penalties, obviously, throughout the sport. This year, NASCAR is getting a little stricter, a little bit more on the financial side, a little bit more serious on what happens if you do commit a penalty. So as we all know, with these next-gen cars, we are no longer making parts, chassis, bodies in-house. All of these items are going to be supplied to you through a third party by NASCAR. Everybody gets the same exact brake rotor, same exact brake, same exact everything to the T. With that being said, we all know R&D departments get paid really big bucks at these big organizations to figure out how we can go faster, how we can be better. These penalties are going to kind of keep that in check. If you violate and you do end up with something wrong, guaranteed you're going to pay the cost. So level 1, level 2, not too steep, but when you're talking about steep things like altering one of the parts NASCAR sends to you, building something that is out of spec, doing this and that they know you committed a penalty, up to a $500,000 fine. They can even find a driver that is playoff eligible. Say you've won 5 races and you do something that is wrong. You get caught cheating once, you cheat again. They can kick you out of the playoffs no matter how many wins you got. These are things that NASCAR is implementing there again to try to keep the playing field level. Now, if you've been watching it long enough, like I have, I can guarantee you at the end of the day, these teams are going to find a way with those engineers to make these cars go faster and stay in the rule book. They're not going to alternate parts. They're not going to, alter this, alter that. But there will be a time, and as soon as the light bulb goes off, you're going to see teams go from this to this to this. Give it 3 years, and we're going to be in a totally different speed zone than what we're at now, just from the engineers and the R&D department you have at major organizations, man. So, like I said, I think it's a good thing for NASCAR. I think it's the right move that they need to do. Penalties need to be steep. The competition, the field has grown a lot closer in competition-wise. There's a lot more guys that can win. Back in the day, you're not trying if you're not cheating. Well, if you get caught cheating now, it's going to cost you a lot more than some crew chief suspension and a couple points and this and that, man. So keep an eye on that as we get into this 2022 season with the next-gen car. So want to let you guys know, please go out, like, share, follow all our social media out there, man. We got the Instagram, we've got Twitter, we've got YouTube channel, which is the most important thing. Make sure you go check that out. Like, share, follow, subscribe to all that stuff, man. As I say, all it's about is getting more eyes on the show to hopefully raise more money for these charitable causes that we do here at Coaches, man. And gives me a little bit of feel good to let me know I'm talking some NASCAR sense into some folks out there who get a little crazy sometimes, man. But at the end of the day, like I said, go out, like, share, follow all our social media, and definitely going to help me out, and we'll see if we can't help you out one way or another, man. So what the hell, Lawrence has got the swear bucket. We'll go ahead and get that up there. Throw this in here, man. $1. Checker flag for charity. Basically, every time I swear, we're going to throw $1 in here. Once we get into the actual racing, if you guys tuned in last year, you know whatever car number wins that race, we donate into this bucket. We tally that through the whole season. Whatever that amount is goes to whatever charity it is here we're raising money for at Coach's Corner. Haven't got the 100% down to earth what we're doing the charity for this year, what charity it's going to be. Is it going to be one very local? Is it going to be a bigger organization? I have no idea. But when I do, you guys will be the first ones to know, man. But like I said, little checker flag for charity swear bucket, man. So final test right now as we speak is going on before we hit the Busch Light Clash in the Coliseum, and also moving right into the Daytona Speed Week, 500 and qualifying twin 125s and all. So it's really important. Not only is it good because this is kind of an intermediate track, a unique track at Phoenix, this is where the season ends. This is where the champion is crowned. So the information they get here is going to give them a step for the spring, and then that spring information is going to give them a step there for November when we crown the champion. So this is a very important test. There again, it's been the last test that we're going to run before we actually get the regular season cranked up, man. So this is it. This is where you got to learn all the info from before we prepare, and you strap the belts on and tighten them up, man, and go get it. Go get that paycheck. So with that being said, speeds relatively close to what we saw last year at Phoenix. I think last year they were running average laps 137, 38, somewhere in there. We're down to about 131.7. Kyle Larson actually ran that yesterday. I hadn't seen today's practices yet, so I don't know, or testing. I don't know what the top speeds were. But there again, Kyle Larson laid down the lap. Getting feedback from him as a driver, he said he is surprised at how much this car actually feels kind of like the old ones racing there at Phoenix. Now, we've heard a lot of guys come out in the field at Atlanta was totally different, as to be expected, reconfigured racetrack, more banking. Totally to be expected. Daytona, they said it's a little hairy. The handling in the car wasn't quite exactly where they wanted it to be yet. We're seeing there again that tandem style racing coming back in. So what this is telling me from the test that we've seen is you have one race car that's going to act 3 totally different ways depending on what tracks we go to. So I think that's something we got to keep an eye on as the season continues. Who does good where? Because I can tell you doing good at 1.5 miles isn't probably going to be good enough to do 1.5 miles at every single track. Just because you're good in Atlanta doesn't mean you're going to be good at Charlotte, man. But at the end of the day, I think this year is going to pay, in particular, even more to that. What race teams are really running good, and it's going to change week in and week out, probably, I'm going to say, through the first 10 to 12 races this season before we start getting into somebody that kind of gets a handle on it, gets it wound down, and kind of gets it under the reins, man. But more news from that test, man. 18 car, Mr. Kyle Busch took a little loopy-loop. He did a little loopy-loop out there in the racetrack. Nothing too crazy, didn't hit anything. And right before I came up here on my way, I saw that Ty Gilliland smacked the hell out of the wall. He tore that race car up pretty good, so at least he's doing it during testing and not during a race. But, you know, who's needless to say he's not going to do that. But, yeah, at the end of the day, man, got to get it in, got to get it figured out right here. We're getting ready to go racing next Sunday, and then 2 weeks later, man, we're at that 500. So got to get it figured out right now, man. So want to give a big shout out to Arborman Tree Service, my buddy Parker Eccles out there, man. Really appreciate you, bud. It's one of my main sponsors outside of coaches here for the show. Donates hugely every year to all the charitable events in the barbecue competition we do for charity. Just so many things that he does, man. But like I say all the time, any kind of tree service you need out there, make sure you give Parker Eccles a call. Limbs, like I said, trees, stump grinding, estimates, whatever it may be, man. Make sure you go out there and give him a call. As I always say, no job too big, too small, no tree too tall. Give Parker a call. That's it right there, man. Make sure you call Parker Eccles over there at Arborman Tree Service. So, he sponsors Who's Hot and Who's Not, man, and that's the next thing we got coming up right after I pause for station identification right here on Coach's Corner Sports Network, man. Hope y'all are having a good Wednesday out there. Woo! Never had the margarita from Coach's. I don't know if this is Brandon's margarita or what. This is a good margarita right here. I'm going to be speaking Spanish up here in just a few minutes, y'all. But, hey, biggest news, I cannot leave my boy out, so he's going to make the Who's Hot list as number one. And this is just kind of something that I read a little bit about, and I knew was coming, as we all did. But it breaks it down with Hendrick Motorsports and Jeff Gordon moving into his new role over there, man. So what you got to look at is he's moving into the highest position ever held by somebody outside of the Hendrick Motorsports family. He is a vice chairman. Mostly he's going to kind of operate inside the marketing and competition side, which I think is absolutely amazing. As we all know, the former driver of the 24 car was in the Fox booth there for a while after he retired. Rick Hendrick came to him pretty much, I think, a year after he started that and kind of offered this, and Gordon wanted to do a little more TV, and it kind of came down to it where it fell in just right. So I'm so excited to see what he does, not only for this organization, but being the face of this organization, man. A lot of folks, a lot of old school guys will clown on him, you know, kind of the wonder boy, the pretty boy. We were used to the redneck racing, and this guy from California comes out and just starts kicking ass. Pretty face, you know, names, this, that, yada, yada. You know, but at the end of the day, man, he really did kind of put this sport on a whole new platform. So there again, the marketability that he had, the competition side of winning races, I think he's going to do an absolutely amazing job there for Rick Hendrick. This just shows you how much Rick Hendrick trusts this guy to basically run this company for him on the marketing competition side, man. So it pays dividends. You know, as we move on, man, it's kind of a scary thought when you really break this down and you really start to think about it, right? So here we are coming out of back-to-back champions out of the Hendrick stable in two different drivers. We had Chase Elliott there in 2021, lock it down, or 2020, excuse me, lock it down. And then here we are this past year with Kyle Larson, man, locks it down again, 2021 champion. So we have back-to-back champions ran right there at you know, Hendrick Motorsports, man, being in the stable, doing their freaking thing, man. It's just absolutely amazing. So I will call it out like this. You heard it here first. Don't be surprised if you see a three-peat come out of the Hendrick stable, man. It could be Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman. It could even be freaking the kid, or, you know, William the Kid Byron, or, you know, he doesn't like being called Billy, so I call him William the Kid Byron, man. I think he's absolutely freaking awesome. One of these guys, don't be surprised if they win a championship. Now, another thing, you know, piece for thought here. You got Chad Knaus and Jeff Gordon, two of the biggest guys behind the scenes right there at Hendrick Motorsport, man. So you cannot even say these guys aren't going to be set for years in that department, in that organization. These guys really know what they're doing. 7-time championship crew chief, 4-time championship driver, and the guy that got it all started was Ray Evernham, man. So still does a little bit of consulting and advising for Hendrick Motorsports, but kind of took a back seat to all of it. But that's where it all started, man. I tell you what, Hendrick Camp runs deep. Not only great crew chiefs, great drivers as well, man. So definitely making that hot list. So basically that's going to wrap it up for Who's Hot, man. Like I said, till we get back into the racing, Don't know who's hot, who's not really, but we're going to move right into the who's not. Now, this is no shot. I'm not taking shots at anybody out there. If you guys have watched the show for a while, you know I'm an Elliott fan, obviously. This isn't directed directly towards Kevin Harvick. This is just it as an organization. So on the who's not, it's going to be Stewart-Haas Racing right now coming into 2022. Now, do I think this is going to change as we get the season going on? I really do. I think we're going to see that 4-car kind of fall back into somewhat of what we've seen over the past 4 or 5 seasons with him. He's going to get some race wins. Last year, he didn't get a win, man, which made himself the only driver outside of Carl Edwards. There's only been 2 guys that ever did this, to win 8+ races in one season and come out the next season and not win a damn race at all in modern era, man. So that's something definitely to keep a lookout for. You know, with Eric Almirola bringing home that only race win last year, you really got to think about it. Was Stewart kind of putting all his eggs into this year's basket in the next-gen car and kind of getting a head start on all the other teams and going, hey, we'll take the loss on this year. 2022 maybe might be our year, that next-gen championship, you know, first one. Who knows what he's thinking? Stewart's always kind of that, but I do expect them to bounce back. But as we're talking right now, this organization definitely fell off, took a step down, not only from, you know, 18 to 19, you know, 8 wins for Harvick, not making, you know, in 19 to 20, not making the final 4 in 20, kind of carrying that momentum to 21, going winless. So I think it's a lot to say, but also at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of work to do, and I think with Kevin Harvick, you got a great guy there. Now, will he be there after this year? Don't know. Almirola's already announced his retirement. Will be interesting to see what kind of guy Stewart-Haas goes and gets. But to be a powerhouse in the sport, to not only have 1 win and to have your main guy, pretty much the best car that you have, we'll say, go winless, we're going to have to expect a very fast start in 2022, or they're going to find themselves behind very early. So we'll have to see what Stewart-Haas breaks it down and see what they get rolling out there, man. So going into the hard right turn. Now, we're going to pause for station identification again because I am very long-winded on this. This is a very good one. I wrote a lot of stuff out about this and broke it down. So right here at Coach's Corner Sports Network, thank y'all again. All right. Yeah. Yeah, you can come on out. We'll talk about it, man. But, hey, so the hard right turn, basically what it's going to revolve around, man, is Kyle Busch re-signing with Joe Gibbs Racing, right? Now, excuse me if I do look down more than I usually do. I got a lot of good stuff in here. I don't want to forget anything, man. So, driver of the 18 car, as we all know, losing that main sponsor, Mars M&M's, after this season, done with the full-time sponsorship, and actually pulling out of NASCAR completely. So with that being said, I don't think it's ever going to be an issue for Kyle Busch or Joe Gibbs Racing in the sport of NASCAR to go out and to find another major sponsor. You have a Super Bowl winning coach, and when it's all said and done, it's probably going to go down as the winningest NASCAR driver ever in an air. Now, what I really think we need to do if we're going to start talking that is add everybody's wins up through all 3 series. But at the end of the day, not taking nothing away from Kyle. The guy is absolutely an awesome, phenomenal talent. But there again, I don't think there's an issue there with the sponsor. Now, if you've been watching or keeping up with any kind of NASCAR news in the past few weeks, you've heard Kyle Busch come out and say he hates that the relationship's coming to an end. But when he's on the hunt for the new sponsor, being very new into the process of doing that, he would like to find a sponsor that kind of likes the same things he does. So I would expect, if I'm a guess, I would expect a little bit more of an adult sponsor. Who knows? I mean, but it's definitely probably going to be more of an adult sponsor. If you watched a few weeks ago, I kind of gave some sponsors out there I thought that should, sponsor them, but we're not going to get into that again tonight. But like I said, I don't think either one had the problem getting it done. Now the biggest question is this right here. We have Ty Gibbs, a grandson of Joe Gibbs, coming up through the ranks very fast. He's actually getting ready to compete in his first full season in Xfinity Series this year. Now, if you have kept up with anything with this kid, yeah, he might be, grandson of Joe Gibbs, but at the end of the day, this kid's got a lot of talent. He won a lot, I think 3 races last year, 3 or 4 out of the 80 entered in certain series, won some races, man. Ty Gibbs is going to be a talent. So what that speaks to me of so many years of watching the sport, The guys in Gibbs have 2 to 3 years to get this figured out, okay? So basically what I did is I went through every single comparison of the 3 drivers, because I don't think Christopher Bell is going anywhere. I think he's a very young talent. I don't think that he's going to be the one that gets booted, or it's not even really being booted, but the one that's going to get left out of re-signing a contract. But at the end of the day, we did run down Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin on why or why not it could be them that kind of loses that ride there with Gibbs and ushers in the grandson. So this isn't something there again, as many people accuse Austin Dillon of, oh, well, Richard Childress is your granddad and you got this ride because of that. There's not a grandfather out there that has a grandson. If he was a racer and you were who you were, a Richard Childress or Joe Gibbs, you're not going to give a piece of equipment to your grandkid. I don't care if he runs 40th and wrecks every week. Doesn't matter. You're going to do it. So I don't want to hear any of that. But this kid does have a really good talent. Make sure you look out for him there again in the Xfinity Series this year, running that full schedule. Would not surprise me to see if this kid actually goes up there and wins a championship as a rookie in that series at all. But we are gonna put it down there. The writing is on the wall, so we're gonna run down the 3 drivers and scenarios to become familiar with and watch what happens here in the next couple seasons. So we're definitely going to start out with the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. So he signed an extension there before last year's 500. So at the beginning of 2020, signed an extension with Gibbs. Mostly in NASCAR contracts, you don't see 5, 7, 10 years lifetime. You don't really see that unless you're really, really good. 2 to 3 is usually about the extent of what you see guys sign for. So let's go on, say it's a 2-year deal. Let's say it's a 3-year deal. Last year and 2 more, right? We'll get a 3-year deal. 19 car has found victory lane 12 times with Joe Gibbs Racing. There again, he's made the Final Four 2 out of the 3 seasons since he made the transition over there. And we all know he's getting up there in age. I think he can race as long as he wants to race, but we do know retirement's looming. So there again, that's something to be said. If we're going and looking at it a little deeper, hasn't quite won that championship for Joe Gibbs. Finished second last year. He's always finished really good. I think he's a very consistent race car driver. I think that at the end of the day, when you measure it down and you look at it, you've got to have a guy that at least puts you in that Final Four to compete for championships. Martin Truex checks that box on that, man. So I would say he's pretty safe, at least for the next couple years, I would think, and barring him saying, "Hey, I retire. I've got retirement. I'm kind of done with it. I want to relax and enjoy." So we'll see what he does, and I think for his future at Gibbs, it dictates on what moves he's going to make, not necessarily what Gibbs is thinking. So moving right into Denny Hamlin of the 11 car. Now, to me, this makes the absolute most sense out of any 3 drivers in the stable. I will go ahead and say that. To me, it is not Kyle Busch. A lot of guys are thinking Kyle Busch. To me, it's not Kyle Busch, man. And I'm going to tell you why right here. So Denny Hamlin, obviously, since he came into the sport, has only driven for Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, this man is the staple of Joe Gibbs Racing. Now he owns 2311. He's opened his own team. Could I see 2311 growing from a 2-car team that it is this year to a 3-car team? Yeah. But I could also see it still remaining a 2-car team and Denny Hamlin going and driving his own equipment for the later part of his career. There again, still young, probably still got a good 5, 6, 7, 8 years to go, if not more than that if he wants it. And he's still hungry and he's still competing for wins. But with 46 wins, the one downfall that Denny Hamlin has is he has failed to win a championship for Joe Gibbs. He has been in that Final Four I don't know how many times, seemed like he's got the race wrapped up, seemed like he's going to get that win and just come up short. So we all compare him to the Mark Martin of this generation. I don't necessarily compare drivers in that way. I think that Denny Hamlin came into a sport when a lot of other really good talent that we're looking at right now is either in its prime, on its way up. He's found his nick, man. He's done what he had to do. But to me, out of all 3 guys, this is the guy that would make most sense. I mean, I know that Denny Hamlin has been there his whole career. Family is family. To me, that would be the guy that goes. So you heard it here first. If it does happen, to me, it just makes more sense. He's got somewhere to go, not looking for a new race team, going to propel his race team. It's a win-win situation for both parties. Now, this is why Kyle Busch, I feel like, is not going anywhere anytime soon. So, stable only multi-time champion for Joe Gibbs. He's won 2 championships there for Joe Gibbs. There again, although M&M's is leaving after this year, I do not see it being a problem or a situation where Gibbs doesn't sign Kyle Busch, man. 36 years old, been doing this for freaking ever, and he's still got at least another 10, 15 years, probably 10 years, say. Let's mark it out at 10 years to go. A lot of firsts in the record books in his career. I mean, Kyle Busch has done things and changed the game and kind of set the bar for a lot of guys to live up to now. Now, with that being said, there again, the winningest driver there at Gibbs, 2 championships. It only makes sense to sign the man. I don't see a grandson coming over and taking a ride from a guy that's won 2 championships in that many races compared to a Denny Hamlin that's got 46 wins and no championships. I don't see that happening. So there again, I think Denny Hamlin will probably be the best fit. I think that Martin Truex Jr. could, if he decides to retire or decides to take another step somewhere different in his racing career after his contract's up. I could see either one, but at the end of the day, I don't see Kyle Busch going anywhere. So you can count on Eminem, man, being here for some years to come, man. So that's going to wrap it up for the rubbing part, man. We're done talking racing for the night. We're getting ready to get right on into the grubbing. I think, what were we grubbing on tonight? Oh, chicken sliders. That's right. I got my beautiful lady, my rubbing and grubbing girl coming up, bringing the sliders up. This is how one of my favorite things here at Coach's Corner, man. I usually get an order of these and an order of burger sliders to take to the house. This is absolutely awesome. So, like I said, there again, good old famous seasoned fries. Man, we got tomatoes, onions, lettuce, Swiss cheese, tenders. These sliders are awesome.
Who is that lady?
Oh, this is my beautiful wife lady. This is my rubbing and grubbing girl right here, man. So this is Lindsay. This is my wife. If you guys are just tuning in first time, it's like a unicorn. She only makes like 2-3 appearances a year on the show. She's here pretty much almost every week supporting me and everything we do here at Coach's. But yeah, man. Thank you. Man. Love you too. So, like I said, pickles on the side, seasoned fries, chicken sliders. This is something great here at Coach's. I do not think there's one thing on the menu or off the drinks list that you can pick here at Coach's that is not good. This is one of my favorite quick eats, man, especially after you had a few beers and you're just ready to go home and eat and relax. This is something very simple, very easy, very good. Right here at Coach's Corner, Thunderbolt, Georgia, center of the universe, chicken sliders, man. Ricky Henderson chicken sliders, as a matter of fact, man. Let's get that right. So, hey, man, just want to give a big shout-out to Green, White, Checkered and PJ Zuko over there at 104.3 ESPN Coastal, man. Ready, so ready. Should be coming up here, let's see, not this weekend, but next weekend, next Sunday, man. We're probably going to be putting on that first episode of this will be the third season of Green, White, Checkered as well, or second season of Green. Oh, third, man. Hell, I don't know. It all blurs together, man. I have no idea. But PJ does a great job over there. You can tune in every Sunday morning, 9 to 9:30. Hear myself and PJ Zuko putting on the show, hosting it there for ESPN 104.3 Coastal. Can also check it out on ESPN Coastal's Facebook live feed. But like I said, PJ does an amazing show putting this show together. A little bit more structured than here. I don't get to drink alcohol at 9 o'clock Sunday morning unless I'm on vacation, which don't judge me at all. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and I like to enjoy my vacays. But at the end of the day, man, tune in every Sunday, 9 to 9:30, Green, White, Checkered, 104.3 ESPN Coastal. Awesome show, man. Big shout out to everybody here at Coach's Corner and everything they do for me and their support. Like I say, John and Adele Henderson are awesome. And some more news. The Coach's Corner group is headed down to Daytona. What time, Lawrence? 7:30? 7:20. Not even 7:30. 7:20 in the morning. Headed down there to Daytona to go root on Coach's Corner's own driver, Mr. Michael Carter, down there, IMSA racer, racing that Mazda MX-5 Cup Series, man. I tell you what, the kid is an awesome talent. We obviously pull hard. John sponsors him. He's still looking for some sponsors, man. So he's from Savannah, right here in local area, man, local boy. If you out there watching, you got a company ready to sponsor a little bit, throw a little dollars to a race team that's in need, man, hey, shoot Michael Carter. You can go on Facebook, check it out, Michael Carter Racing. Get in touch with the people you need to get in touch with. Sponsor the man. Buy him some gas, buy him some tires, buy him something, man. He needs some help. We help. You guys should help as well. So like I said, if you're looking to sponsor, want to find a good local guy to do it, Michael Carter Racing. And like I said, you heard it here first. Kid's got potential, man. Get him a truck ride at a road course and watch what the man can do. I promise you. Ain't going to disappoint you, man. Might take him a little while, a little heavier than what he's used to, but he's definitely going to get it done, man. Also want to give a big shout out here coming up in April. We'll get these two clowns up here to do their thing coming up for the Masters, man. I'm probably going to make a guest appearance at least one of these days they do this show. I got to pop in there and talk. But you got Sean and Brett Herb up there. Them boys, it is a amazingly funny rendition of what goes on at the Masters. They're telling you what they think, who's going to win it, all the news going on day to day. They do this 4 days in a row. And once you see the show, how they maintain this 4 days in a row, I have no idea. But I'm definitely going to make sure I check that out for them. Definitely going to make sure I'm going to give my guest pick at some point in time on who I think is going to win the Masters, which I play a little golf, don't really keep up with it too much like I used to, but I will be just so I can make a very good educated pick on the 19th hole coming up here in April, man. But just want to say thanks to all you guys out there for tuning in, man. Thank you for all the support and love. Like I said, like, share, follow all our social media out there, man. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If Lindsay's here, sometimes she even throws it up on TikTok, man. If you're looking for me out there, you can find me on Twitter, Atlanta_man at 24/7, man. You can find me out there. Definitely check that out. I'm so stoked for this March race. Me and Lawrence will be there with the fams. Gonna have a great time, man. But hey, big shout out to everybody. I hope everybody's having a great hump day, great Wednesday night out there. Hope everybody's staying safe, man. As I say all the time, enjoy your week. Make sure you hug and kiss your loved ones, man. Y'all have a great night. Hey, and until next time, as always, wash your hands, y'all. Love you. Hey, that's it. You better love your husband, man. That's it. Love your husband.